Being that BlackMyth WuKong is so close to being released, the devs have confirmed that it is 100% finished and developed, and they are really proud of the outcome. With that, more details have been revealed about the boss fight mechanics, and more clarity about this whole subject in general. And it seems that BlackMyth WuKong is more difficult than we thought. Originally, we'd been led to believe that WuKong is not a Souls-like game. Now let me clarify for those who aren't familiar with what a Souls-like game actually is. Souls-like games are a subgenre of action RPGs that draw inspiration from the Dark Souls series by From Software. You know, the company responsible for creating Elden Ring, the latest game in their library. So From Software is actually the reason why everyone calls it Souls-like. They literally created an entire genre based off the Dark Souls game. What an impact. And with it being a subgenre of action RPG games, this is where WuKong is different because BlackMyth is an action RPG. But have they taken more inspiration than we thought from the Souls-like game genre? Well, let's see, because Souls games are characterized by challenging combat, precise timing, and strategic use of attacks, dodges, and blocks. And we know that in WuKong that's all there is. Iframe dodges accompanied by certain skills and parries that require timing to master. High difficulty, punishing difficulty where enemies can defeat players quickly, where regular enemies feel like mini bosses, oftentimes not even rewarding you for defeating them, just hard for no reason. I've definitely seen many encounters like these and can see the same thing happening here when I watch WuKong gameplay. The environmental storytelling delivering through the world design, item descriptions and subtle hints, exploration, non-linear with interconnected levels. And this right here is where I think one of the most significant differences are. Elden Ring world is huge and for the most part is considered open world. WuKong is not like that and pretty much helps you along with its linear path. Although there are some hidden areas to explore, it's not nearly as huge as you would imagine because an open world definitely adds a layer of difficulty. Like if you decide to beeline it to the northeast of the map, for example, and happen to find some insanely hard fight, 9 times out of 10, there's no checkpoint out there. So you're going to have to either win the fight or be spawned way back to that checkpoint that you started at. And the resource management, which limits the heals and resources that reset upon death or resting at checkpoints. We've all seen how WuKong uses his flask to heal himself. And here's where we get to the meat of the conversation, and that's the boss battles. Complex, multi-phase bosses that test player skills. This is what I'm talking about. The boss fights not being as easy as we thought in WuKong. Firstly, it's been revealed that there will be a boss encounter almost every 15 minutes as you're exploring. But being that there are over 185 enemy types in the game is believable. And in traditional Souls-like games, there's always a second phase, which makes it so difficult, thinking you've won the fight, only to see them transform into something even stronger. Sometimes it feels hopeless. Well, WuKong devs have also revealed that some bosses will have a second phase. Like, for example, if you take too long to kill a boss, they'll eventually transform and go into that second phase. So this definitely being an element of difficulty taken from Souls-like games. Here's something else that mixes things up and makes it a bit easier. How you can shapeshift into various animals to skip some boss fights. But who wants to do that, right? I personally don't want to because I always want to see what reward I can attain from these bosses I defeat. On the contrary, this is another element that makes things not too difficult, is how you can shapeshift to become stronger during the boss fight. I know you've seen this boss, who has the flaming spear that he drops upon defeating. And once equipped, looks like you can actually transform into him, embodying his moveset completely. So this goes both ways, and the boss fights can either be more difficult or a little more lenient depending on the circumstances. So even though WuKong will have the punishing mistakes, resource scarcity, and unforgiving enemies, at the end of the day, there will be a learning curve that players must get used to through repeated failures to master combat mechanics and enemy behaviors. Let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. I know I'm pretty excited about the boss battles and what surprises come with them and how difficult they'll be actually, because I've been playing Elden Ring and Souls-like games for quite a while, so I think that I'm pretty seasoned in that I understand that you have to die 1,000 times before you can master a boss fight. Ultimately, I don't think it'll be as difficult as they're saying, so I guess we'll just have to see come August 20th. I appreciate you stopping by watching my video to the end. If you enjoyed this conversation, and like the video and subscribe to my channel. Also check out my other WuKong videos on the screen right here. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.